Hello, today I have the first video in a new series, tips, tricks and hacks. So I'm going to share my top 5 tips on various subjects ranging from fashion and lifestyle, all sorts of things. But today I'm going to start with the subject of anxiety. Now before we begin, I just have to say that this is by no means medical advice. This is purely my experience, what I do to help my anxious times, and just by sharing it with you, I hope you can get something out of this. If you're new, please feel free to hit that subscribe button for vlogs and more videos like this and just loads of fun stuff. Yeah, it's great here. I suggest you hit the subscribe button, and while you're there, hit the bell, then you know exactly when I'm uploading. Let's start with tip number 1. Tip number 1. So my first tip is distraction. Now when you feel that kind of anxious feeling, you know the feeling, you've clicked on this video, you know that kind of horrible anxious feeling. When you feel like that, just do anything to distract yourself from the feeling. So for example, for me, I'm a stay-at-home mum. I'm in the house a lot. This is my office, this is my home, this is everything. So when I have that anxious feeling, I get out the house, I change the scenery, I go somewhere different, I speak to different people. I just try and change the topic that's going on in my head of, I'm feeling anxious, why am I anxious? That kind of anxious conversation. So I would maybe go for a walk, or I would go and see my mum, go to the shops, anything to get myself off of the topic. I find that when I'm feeling anxious and I don't force myself off of the topic, it's a downward spiral. I just keep on thinking about it and it just gets worse and the feeling grows. So getting out the house, change of scenery, engross yourself into a different topic definitely does help. Tip number 2, aromatherapy and deep breathing. Now you've probably heard the deep breathing one quite a few times and you're like, hang on a minute, I breathe all the time, thanks, and it's not working. But I find if I take myself away somewhere quiet, do a bit of deep breathing, I can kind of regain a bit of composure. I don't know why I did that. But I also grab some essential oils too. My go-to ones, lavender, and also this one is the Aromatherapy Associates Deep Relax Rollable. So what I do is, I go to my quiet spot if I can, maybe locking myself in the toilet. I do this, I go, I don't even have to put it on anything, I just inhale it straight from the bottle, just like that, deep and relaxing. I find that the smell of the oil kind of triggers my brain into thinking, oh, hang on a minute, that smell means I have to relax. And I find it works. So deep breathing like that and relax. This one, the rollable, I pop onto my wrist and around anywhere that I can roll it onto and just go like this and relax. So you can pop this on the go if you're out and about and think, hang on a minute, I'm having a moment. Put it on, breathe in and relax. It kind of just takes the edge off of it and you can soldier on. Tip number 3, step outside of yourself. I'm doing the hand movement of stepping outside. So this one is really tricky, but once you master it, it is really, really helpful. And I wouldn't even say that I've fully mastered it. You know, I'm still going with this, but it's a good one to be mindful of when you're in the moment. So when you're feeling your anxiety and you're a bit like, oh, what's going on? The feeling, you know the feeling. Try and step outside of yourself. Split yourself into 2. Kind of crazy 2-person kind of way. But step outside of yourself and try and analyse the situation as a different person. It's not you. So you stepped outside of it and you're going, hang on a minute. You're fine. There's nothing wrong going on here. You're just having one of these moments. You've dealt with it before. All you have to do is this and da 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 da. So try and step outside of yourself and think rationally. And you're like, hang on a minute, the whole anxiety thing isn't rational. But if you think, right, I'm just going to step outside of myself and just assess this situation from a different point of view, it kind of helps to trigger your brain and your mind into, oh, hang on a minute, yeah, you're right, other person. And I'm going to try and implement that. Try and be your friend, basically. Try and be a friend to yourself, analyse the situation, just be like, look, come on, you've dealt with this before, this is irrational, you can deal with this, you're fine. And I find if I give myself a bit of a talking to as a separate person, It just kind of helps. I tend to say to myself, the main thing I would say to myself is, you've dealt with this before. It's just one of those things, you're fine. Tip number 4, water. Now, I find that when I'm a bit dehydrated or been drinking too much coffee and not enough water, I do feel a little bit like, not quite right. And I often find when I don't feel right and I think, oh, what have I done? I haven't drunk enough water. And when I do drink more water and stay hydrated, my mind is just a lot clearer and I just feel so much better. What I do is I have a jug of water or a container of water. Well, I say water is squash, okay? Don't give me grief, it's squash, but it's still water, okay? Have it nearby so I can always grab it. And I find the more I drink, the better I feel. It really is that easy. Just keep on drinking. It cleanses your body, but it cleanses the mind. Your body needs water. Your body is made up of 90% water. I don't know, I've just made that up. I know it's a lot. Your body needs water to work properly. And that works with your brain as well and your mind. Honestly, start drinking more water, replacing coffee and wine and whatever you can with water. Honestly, really, really helps. Tip number 5, realising that this is physical. So this is what I do for myself. I remind myself that this anxiety thing, that's what it looks like, is not me. It is something that happens every now and again. That's not my personality. My personality, I think, I'm a confident person. I like to think I'm a happy person. I'm not an anxious person. Anxiety is not me, but it just happens every now and again. Like I get a headache every now and again. Like I get a cold every now and again. It's a physical thing that is, I don't want to call it an illness because I don't like to label it. I don't want to give it enough power to be called an illness. It's just a thing that happens every now and again, and I just deal with it. So there's no reason to feel bad about being anxious because you just can't control it. It's just something that happens. I mean, for some people it can be circumstantial, but for me, there is no circumstance. It just happens randomly. I don't know why, and I'm not going to try and figure out why anymore because I just don't know. I just don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't know why I get a cold every now and again. I don't know why I get a headache every now and again. It just happens. And that's the same approach that I take to anxiety. That's my stomach rumbling. I need to eat something. But I find if I take that approach, it's more like, yeah, it's not me. It's not me. What? Shut up. Shut up. It's just a headache-y type thing. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you just analyse it way too much of, why am I anxious? Am I an anxious person? Oh no. And you just go down that spiral. But if you just think, right, I've just got one of those anxious days or few days. It's just how it is. I'm just going to ride it out. It's physical. It's just like having a cold or just like having a headache. And I'm just going to deal with it and it'll be fine. So that's how I deal with it in a physical sense. So they're my 5 tips, but overall, the general message is to be kind to yourself. It's just one of those things, it's something that most of us just, it just happens. You can't control it. I've tried to work out why and how and analyse it, but there's no point because it is what it is. Nothing to be ashamed of. I'm not ashamed of having a headache, just as I'm not ashamed of feeling a bit wappy sometimes. It's just the way it is. So you've just got to realise that, be kind to yourself, look after yourself, be your own friend, really. There's no point in giving yourself a hard time and trying to work things out. From my experience, it just doesn't work. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, this is going to be a series where I'm going to give tips and tricks and advice on various subjects. So please do hit the subscribe button. Please feel free to share this with people who you feel would benefit from this. And like I said, if you do feel a bit just not right, go to your doctor. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You can do it. It's fine. It's fine. So thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.